It has been quite a while since I last booted up the camera and made one of these YouTube videos, but I am back, hopefully for good this time. It's been an incredibly busy period for me over the last couple of months, so I'll talk a little bit about what's been happening, what we've got coming up, and what this channel will actually look like going forward, and hopefully you won't have to wait another 2 months for another video. The last few months have been incredibly busy for me, both inside and outside of triathlon. Primarily what's happened is I sat my final exams of med school, so although this isn't something I really talk about, I know I mentioned this in some of my earlier videos, I am in med school in London and I've just completed the last exams in my final year, so fingers crossed in about a week's time we'll get some results from those and it'll be positive and we'll be looking at a pass, hopefully, but like touch wood before the results come in from that. But that's been incredibly time consuming, both preparing for and doing those exams over the last few weeks, and it's left me very little time outside of that, and most of that time has been taken up by training and spending time with friends just to maintain a really good work-life balance for me, because if I'd been making these videos during that time, I really wouldn't have had the time to kind of socialise or do things outside of studying and training, and that probably would have put me in a pretty dark hole. So not what I wanted overall, but I think it was the best decision, even though that means sacrificing making these videos, which I really enjoy. However, having those exams out the way now, it does mean that I am free. I've got a little bit more time to make sure that I am making more of these videos and training a fair bit more as well, which is exactly what I've got planned for the next few weeks. I've only competed once so far this year, and that was just a small local race. I did the Basildon Aquathon with a friend of mine, and I'm really pleased. I got a third overall. It was an amazing experience. I've never done an aquathon before, and I really enjoyed it. I think it shows a lot of my swim improvements, and hopefully my run will improve as well going forward. But after my first podium, it's now all focus ahead for Outlaw Half Nottingham, which I am admittedly quite nervous about, but also incredibly excited about, because I think it's going to be a brilliant race, and I'm hoping that I'm going to come into it with a really good form. And to make sure that I come into it with some pretty decent form, I'm going to be doing a lot of training over the next 3 weeks while I've got some time off. So unless anything drastically changes over the next few weeks, I'm hoping to take you along for my training and provide you with a training vlog video every single day. Again, touch wood, because it's been a while since I've done this, so I have to see how long it takes me to get back into the groove. After these 3 weeks, at the end of April, I am away for an 8-day training camp with a few friends in Mallorca, which I absolutely cannot wait for, and I'll definitely have some content from that, but I'm not sure exactly how much. It just depends how comfortable everyone is with a little bit of filming while we're out there. After my training camp in Mallorca, I'm hoping to do the Bucks Sprint Triathlon, which is the University Cup here in the UK, which has an incredibly competitive field, so that should be really good fun. That'll be May 1st, and that leaves me right up to May 21st, which is Outlaw Half Nottingham. Now, I don't have any solid race plans after that, but I will be making some pretty soon. But yeah, it feels great to be back on YouTube making these videos and bringing you all along for what's going to be an incredible few weeks of pretty intense training. We're going to try and train like a pro, which I know might be a little bit overdone, but it should be great fun. Now, talking about training, I've already had a big day of training. It's been very busy with some applications for junior doctor things, so I haven't had a chance to record anything, but I had a really good swim this morning where we did a mixture of longer and shorter stuff, mainly focusing on some strength work. I then went out for a nice easy hour, about an hour and 5, hour and 10 minute run, just all kind of zone 2, like 5:30 pace. That was really nice because there's a bit of sunshine today in London. Now it's about 3:30. We've got the main session of the day, which we'll film and we'll dissect once we're done. So we have a pretty tough session. We're working at my desired threshold, so my FTP's kind of around 286 watts at the moment, and my desired FTP would be pretty much bang on 300 watts. That would be a massive milestone for me, and so to get there we're going to do a desired threshold workout. Normally if I was doing like a normal threshold, so at my current threshold, I would do 5 minutes, 8 minutes, 10-minute kind of intervals. But for this one, because we're kind of working above my threshold but not at my VO2, which is 520, 530 watt kind of range. We're going to be doing 6 by 3 minutes twice through with a 10-minute break in the middle at 300, I think it's 305 watts we've got set today. So hoping to average pretty much 300 watts and get more comfortable working at that desired threshold, just a little bit above my current threshold, and hopefully that will bring that threshold closer to 300 watts by the time for Nottingham Outlaw Half. Doing this on the turbo, unfortunately, it's a pretty short session. It'll be about 1 hour and 45 minutes. Even though it's pretty sunny outside, it is incredibly windy. I was almost blown over on my run. And so planning to do that on the turbo, just grind it out and get it done. So I'll see you after the session. So unsurprisingly, that turned out to be a pretty brutal turbo session. I wasn't feeling super fresh going into it, and unfortunately that really showed throughout of it. So it was a bit of a battle to get that done today. Just to recap, the plan was to do 2 sets of 6 by 3 minutes at my desired threshold, so kind of halfway between my current threshold and VO2. However, pretty much on the first one, I knew that I wasn't really going to be able to do the whole thing, and I definitely kind of like got into my head a little bit too much during that session. But I guess that's part of what we're trying to build up by doing some sessions that are a bit harder than I otherwise would. So I did the first set of 6 pretty much where I wanted them, or slightly below, and then I did the first 4 of the previous set. So I did 10 reps of 3 minutes at 300, or kind of 296, I think 296, 297 watts average, which is still really good for me. That's still super threshold, even though it's not quite as high. I wanted it just above 300 watts, but overall it's a pretty good session considering how tired I am with the amount of fatigue I have from recent training and a lot of non-training kind of sports things that I've been doing to round out the year for university. I can't really complain too much about that, and I know that I'm definitely going to sleep well tonight and hopefully have another great training day tomorrow. But that's going to do us for this first episode back. I hope everyone's excited to follow me as I train to get ready for Outlaw Nottingham Half. Really excited to bring you along for that journey, show you all the training that I'm doing as we try to train like a pro for a few weeks at the moment. So I hope you'll enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.